Hello all, and a very good afternoon. Welcome to another ShipIT 365 webinar. My name is Nicholas. I'm a partner manager at IDEN. We are a global ISV for Business Central extensions, as you will all probably already know. Today I'm joined by Thijs van den Heuvel, product manager at IDEN, and we have also invited Boudewijn Pieters, channel manager at our partner for this product, Transsmart. A few things I wanted to mention in terms of webinar housekeeping. First of all, this session will be recorded and all participants will receive the recording within 24 hours of today's conclusion. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them via the questions panel. We will collect all of your questions and answer them personally directly after today's session. At the end of the webinar, you will also get to see a brief feedback survey, and we would be very thankful if you could take the time to fill this out. Now, as you probably know, ShipIT once was created with the aim to seamlessly work together with the services of Transsmart. Specifically, the carrier connections, the generating track and trace links, sending emails to end customers, and much more actually comes from Transsmart and are then addressed by ShipIT within Business Central. This webinar differs from our previous editions in that this time we will again show you an extensive ShipIT 365 demo, but it will be interspersed with all sorts of Transsmart information as we go along. Now, in practice, you're going to see what exactly an action within the extension triggers on the Transsmart side of the story. And this will hopefully give you a better idea of how both components work together and what the respective added values are. Having said all this, I'd like to give the floor to Boudewijn.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for your time and attention. My name is Boudewijn Pieters of Transsmart, and I'm responsible for the Microsoft and SAP channel. Transsmart is a delivery management platform where we connect more than 400 carriers and more than 50 different ERP, WMS, and webshop and e-commerce systems. And one of those systems is Business Central, where IDEN has created the integration with the app called ShipIT. The ShipIT app makes it possible that functionalities of the Transsmart platform comes into Business Central. Today I will explain the functionalities and the price list. In the world of transport, we noticed that there were separate portals where you had to manually book your shipments. Sometimes they were through linked to your ERP systems, but when you had multiple carriers, this became more and more time-consuming and inefficient. As a result, the Transsmart platform was created, and we now serve over 1,000 customers by connecting sales orders to carriers.
That's great. Thank you, Boudewijn. Now with these introductions, I believe both IDEN and Transsmart have now been able to introduce ourselves. And we're going to take a look at the following topics that are related to the shipping process. And we're going to look at them within the ShipIT 365 extension as well. Firstly, booking of the transport orders and printing of labels. Secondly, we'll take a closer look at the smart shipping and smart routing concept, including the carrier select functionality. We will then also look at the smart track and smart return components. These relate to the management of tracking information and returns. And finally, we get to see in more detail at what is possible with the printing of additional documents on top of just shipping labels, such as CMR. Boudewijn, then it's back to you.
Thank you, Nicholas. The Tradesmart subscriptions are available in 3 flavors: Standard, Business, and Advanced. Where 90% of the customers use the business plan, I will explain all 3 of them, and IDEN will show these functionalities what they look like in Business Central. On the left side, we see the functionalities. Here we see Smart Book and Smart Print. These functionalities are included in all 3 subscriptions, and you can see that on the right side. Smart Book is all about automating the shipping process within your ERP, WMS, or webshop. Smart Print ensures you can get the correct label with the right information printed for your correct carrier.
So that was booking and printing in theory, and information about the services that are required for this type of functionality. Now let's see how this works in Business Central, and for that I'd best show you that by creating a normal sales order. So let's switch to sales order processor, and in the meanwhile let me add that of course in this situation, because we're going for booking and printing right away, Within this environment, ShipIT is already installed, configured. We have a Transsmart account. Our contracts are in there, and all the data necessary to work here in the Business Central environment has been pulled back into this system. So let me click on my favorite demo customer here and say create sales order. Customer just called me and said, can you send me some furniture by the end of May? Of course we can. Let's select some of these. And now we're already at the point that we can book. So send this to our carrier and print a label right away. Of course, we could take many different routes. We could go for a warehouse shipment. We could just continue creating orders and then at a later stage create transport orders. But for now, because I wanted to show you just a basic functionality, we'll create a transport order right away. So here we are, transport order. It's the document which contains everything that has to be sent to and back and forward between Transsmart and your Business Central environment, and in the end, of course, to DHL and back into your Business Central environment. So here's our transport order. If you want to know more about all the details and all the functionality on this transport order, please see the previous webinars, the recordings we made of those. You can find them on YouTube. For now, what we'll do, we just want to send this to DHL. We just want to see how easy it is to work with the platform. So here's booking. That's just 1 second. And here we have a tracking number and tracking URL back in Business Central. These will also be stored onto the sales header and sales line or any other source document if that were the case. So that was it already. We've booked our shipment with DHL in this case. Could have been any other carrier as well, of course. And separate from that, we have to, or we can print labels and possible additional shipping documents. So here's just a label for now. Later on, you'll hear a bit more about how you can add additional documents as well. And of course, in this case, I showed you the label on the screen, but in a production environment, this label would have been printed, depending on my personal preferences, onto any printer in my warehouse or wherever this thing is located. So that's it. That's booking and printing. We've, with just a few clicks, we told DHL that here's a package, come pick it up, give me a number, and give me a label so that I can stick it on the box already. So yeah, that's it, booking and printing.
With Smart Rates, we load the carrier contracts into Transsmart, and we can therefore make predictions of the cost of the bookings even before the shipment was booked. With Smart Routing, we can select the best carrier based on decision rules or automatically make the best choice. This is done by managing business rules, such as shipping location, delivery location, the size, the weight, and the cost, and 25 other business rules. We call this functionality within ShipIT and Business Central the carrier select.
So now let's look at what rates and routing do within the software, and for that we'll just create a new sales order, same customer, and they called us again. We'll just have to ship them some more stuff on that same date. Here's a table or two, and where before we clicked create transport order right away, we will now click on carrier select. And what this does, this will show you, depending on pickup and delivery location, it will show me all the contracts that apply to that at those two locations. So these carriers and with different services can all pick up and deliver. Not all, because you see the ones in red here are not fully configured yet in Business Central. So It does show me that I have some more services left, but cannot use them right away. But all the green ones, those I can select for this job. So let's click one, let's click OK. And you see, because we enabled adding freight amounts as ship or as sales order lines, that caused this line to appear down here. Shipping costs have now been added to our sales order. Of course, you don't have to use this, but it's nice to see that that functionality is there as well. And so now we manually selected a carrier. And from here on, we can proceed by clicking Create Transport Order, and then the whole thing will be processed as we've seen before. And of course, you don't have to do it this way. You don't have to do it manually. You can also leave this up to the Transsmart platform. So then, in that case, we would have just clicked Create Transport Order right away. And then on the platform, you can enable automatic routing and selection of rates. So there the platform can, depending on locations, depending on weight, they can automatically select the right carrier and the right service level to process this transport. So that's rates and routing within ShipIT 365 here in Business Central.
SmartTrack gives you the carrier track and trace URL directly into your system. What we also can offer is the possibility to send this track and trace status in a personalized email within your own corporate branding and layout. This gives you your own track box. This gives you also an advantage to create an extra touch point with your customer so you can do up and cross-sell. As an example, when I order shoes and I get the track box in my email, the email can also make me an offer for extra socks or shoelaces. As a business, you probably also have to deal with returns. We solve that with Smart Returns. With Smart Returns, we have multiple possibilities, such as adding a return label into the box, a printed return label on the back of the shipping label, or manually create a return label in Transsmart and email it. A return shipment works the same as creating a shipment, only the sender and receiver are flipped. At many companies, the carrier selection is decided at the packing table. Based on the package type, weight, or certain size or box or pallet, the right carrier is selected. With Smart Scan, we offer the possibility to scan at the packing table and decide which carrier is best. Instead of printing all the labels at once and matching them with the packing order, which is a nightmare, you can scan the order and only one label comes out of the printer when it's completely packed. With Smart Label, Transsmart can completely adjust the label, and there's even room for additional information. With Smart Docs and Smart Trade, we create export documents such as commercial invoice, CRM, and other documents. We extract data from Business Central and complete it with the data from Transsmart. If the carrier supports it, Transsmart is able to do paperless trade, where we send the documents directly to the carrier. It all starts with a sales order. Many companies have a web shop, not only business to consumer, but also more and more business to business. Because everybody wants to offer the experience to their customer, which they also experience when ordering, for instance, at Zalando. With Smart Checkout, you can select the carrier options in your shopping cart. The customer then can decide for themselves which carrier and carrier options they choose. It is also possible to show PUDO points, which are pick-up and drop-off points. These are also possible when you own stores.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for this clear explanation. We would also like to take this opportunity to make it very clear to you all what the structure is in terms of pricing. Now, first of all, as an end user of the product, you become an IDEN customer and you purchase a ShipIT 365 license via subscription, usually through your Business Central partner. But on top of that, you also become a Transsmart customer and will therefore also see direct invoicing coming from the Transsmart side. Boudewijn will give a more detailed explanation about their pricing model in a moment, but for now, let's talk about the ShipIT 365 extension and its pricing. The pricing model for ShipIT is simple. Depending on the number of carriers which will be used, the user has a choice between a full or a limited license. With just one single carrier, a limited license is already sufficient. If you use more than one, a full license is required. Gradual upgrading when more carriers are linked is of course possible. ShipIT 365 for Business Central is available in subscription, whereby you already get the full version for 179 euros per month, or the limited version for just half that price. The extension is licensed per Business Central tenant, and the number of users or the volume of shipments are not relevant. ShipIT is available on premises and SaaS-hosted Business Central environments. For the subscription price, the user obtains the right of use and access to new product versions as soon as they are made available. This can be via AppSource or via our download portal. Furthermore, users can cancel their subscriptions at any time, but subject to a notice period of 60 days.
We've gone through a lot of functionalities now, and I will show you now how easy it is to quote Transsmart. There are three components that are important. First is the type of subscription, then the consumption, and finally additional functionality. If you want to book and print labels, standard is just enough. But if you want to have rate prediction, carrier select and a smart routing of your shipments, you need the business subscription. Advanced is only necessary when working with dangerous goods, ADR, or if there is a need for proof of delivery. Then we're looking at consumption. First, we need to know how many carriers the customer wants to connect. On our website, you can see which carriers we already have connected. All subscriptions include 2 carrier connections. After that, you need to know how many packages and pallets there will be shipped each year. Mind you, one shipment may contain multiple packages or pallets. Finally, we'll look at additional features such as customizing label, a track box, or multiple sub-accounts when, for example, you have multiple warehouses or you are a 3PL or 4PL supplier and you want to offer your customers the possibility to manage the shipments themselves. I'll explain the pricing model in the next 2 cases. In the first case, we see a mid-sized company that manually sends around 1,000 packages each year with one carrier. Thanks to Transsmart, we can now do this automatically, and because they only use one carrier, they don't need the carrier select function. So this brings us to the standard package. The standard package has a one-off cost of 999 euros, which includes the following: the preliminary research with our logistic consultants, who will look over the shipment process together with the customer, setting up track and trace email, and a guidance for go live. The annual license fee of the standard package also costs 999 euros. For this you get unlimited users, 2 carrier connections, and a general shipping label for pickup and own transportation. Also included are 2,500 parcel shipments. In this case we only need 1,000, and in this ensemble we are in the right place. In addition, 100 pallet shipments are also included. The standard support is from 8:45 till 5 p.m. If desired, the support can be expanded to 24/7. In the second example, we have a large company with a web shop that annually sends about 150,000 parcel shipments and about 1,000 pallet shipments. They do it with 4 different kind of carriers. Because they do so many shipments with different kind of carriers and with different package types, you will automatically want to determine which carrier is best. We do that based on routing rules. This brings us to the business package. The one-off cost of the business package is 1,950 euros and includes the configuration of 2 track and trace emails, 5 cost centers, routing rules up to 5 lines, and a more extensive preliminary research and guidance for go live. The annual license fee of the business package costs €1,149. This includes the same as the standard package. In this example, we have 4 carriers. As mentioned earlier, 2 carriers are already included in the fee, and we have to add 2 extra carriers. For each additional carrier, we have a one-off cost of €226.50. In this case, times 2, which makes €453. The annual cost of 4 carriers are in the range of 3 to 5 carriers in the row of the business package, which makes €595 each year. However, because we now do more shipments each year, we have to look at the list of the pallet shipments. However, because we do more shipments per year, we now have to look at the first list of the pallet shipments. We go to the volume of 101 to 1000 in the row of the business, which comes to €698.63 per year. Then we're going to take a look at the partial shipments. We're going up to 150,000 plus shipments. In this scale, the cost per shipments are 6.7 cents. This times 150,000 shipments makes €10,050. We have summed up the one-off cost for the base package of €90.50 and €453 for the carriers, which makes €2,403. The annual costs are €1,149 for the business license, plus €595 for the 3 out of 5 carriers, plus €698.63 for the pallet shipments, plus $10,050 for the partial shipments. That makes the annual cost of $12,492.63. Thank you, everyone. If you want to reach out or have any questions, you can email me on boudewijn.peters@transsmart.com.
Thank you, Boudewijn, for your pricing explanation. And with this, we come to the end of today's webinar. Our sincere thanks go out to Transsmart and Boudewijn for their contribution today. We can always be reached for further questions and also for scheduling demos and requesting quotes, both regarding the ShipIT 365 extension and the Transsmart services. Please send your request to sales@idin.nl. Now, for questions that are particularly focused on the Transsmart functionalities or pricing, you can also send a message directly to them. And with that, I believe we can close our webinar for today. We would all like to thank you for your attention and for taking the time out of your schedules to join us. We wish you all a wonderful day. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.